Period. Because we want to come off as perfect, especially during that first stage of meeting someone. You wanna you want to come off as I'm the one you need. When in reality, you're training that person for who you aren't.
Right.
You're showing them that
Oh,
person, and then when you become the person who you actually are, they're like, what the? Hello, everybody. Hello, E.
what's up, Tapa?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
I guess.
Uh,
Different scenery. This is my room.
okay.
Pictures are
Anyways,
from at home. Pictures are
let's,
from at home.
let's get to the topic. Let's get to the topic
Okay.
that we're going to talk about. We are talking about a very, very, very important topic. When I say very important, very important.
Very important.
Okay. All right. So our conversation is gonna be around how can we expect ourselves to grow if we don't point out and identify our weaknesses to ourselves, but also how do we expect to grow within a relationship or friendship, whatever it is, if you don't allow your partner, your friend to see those weaknesses within you. Very big topic, all right? And
Very
it's
big topic.
very, very big. It's because it's Erica, thoughts. Go ahead.
Well, the other day I was on TikTok, and I think I sent you this TikTok, and it was a pastor talking about how do we get over broken hearts. And the pastor was saying we often think that the reason we get over how we get over broken hearts is we just be hard, be tough, close the world out, be strong, and that's how you eventually get over a broken heart. But his story was, in actuality, how you get over a broken heart is getting your heart broken again. And what he meant by that was the reason for the broken heart was not allowing the weaknesses to be shown. Oftentimes, we give this illusion or this front to our partner, to our friends, of what we are. And then when we finally show ourselves, that person can't handle it because they've never seen that part of us before.
Yep.
We always hide in weaknesses, always. And it's not good at all, period.
Period. Because we want to come off as perfect, especially during that first stage of meeting someone. You wanna you want to come off as I'm the one you need. When in reality, you're training that person for who you aren't.
Right.
You're showing them that
Oh,
person, and then when you become the person who you actually are, they're like, what the?
right.
Like I didn't know you could cry.
Right.
I didn't know I didn't know you could be weak.
I didn't know
And
that hurt
then
you or hurt your
they
feelings.
they don't know how to respond to you within that setting. And then that person now that's trying to receive that comfort and trying to be weak within a moment, they're not receiving that because they have not showed their partner that they could be that way. And that partner doesn't know how to treat that because this is the first time seeing it. Toxic.
Wow. Very toxic. I'm about to say, and what I'm about to say is another toxic trait. This is most like what we're talking about now is most often seen in men than it is in women. And you can counteract or disagree, but in since the beginning of time, a man has been brought up, especially in the black community, as to always to be strong, never to show weaknesses, never to show vulnerability, never to show affection. So, generation after generation, you're bringing these men up to be this way, and now they're starting families on their own. They're being with other people. They're having children. They're raising their children, their boys, to be the same way, because weakness is girly, or the another myth, being vulnerable is feminine, or being affectionate is gay. What? I'm newsflash. I don't want no nigga that ain't affectionate. So
I'm gonna
period.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with you that it's generational
And cultural,
and there's cultural parts.
because I feel like other cultures don't have an issue. I don't think I've ever seen a white man have a problem showing affection.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there because you know what? We can't necessarily talk for another culture because we are not in that culture.
I'm not gonna say what I wanted to say, but okay.
So I agree with some of the stuff you're saying. We're not gonna fight. Um, but I do believe it's generational because we grew up when I actually had this conversation with my mom the other day. We grew up thinking or saying to boys that toughen up. Why are you crying? Get over it. It'll be okay. All that stuff. Or even with our friends, we tell our friends all the time that you'll get through it. You'll push through.
Mm.
Um, when in reality, we're not confronting our weaknesses or the things that we are wanting to be vulnerable about. So then we never really address it, and then we teach our kids that, and then we teach our kids that, and then the next generation and next generation. So it just continues. Um, and to bring it back to the weakness stuff we're talking about, if we address our weaknesses from the get-go, which we need to normalize this,
Need to normalize it.
address our weaknesses from the get-go, um, it'll make things so much easier. But before we can even address it with someone else, we have to address it with ourselves. We had to sit down and write it out, say it to yourself, I am this is something I'm not good at. This is one of my weaknesses. Confront those so that you could get
Right.
better at it. If we constantly push it to the side, we never deal with those emotions. So when it comes again, we don't know how to deal with it. So it's a continuous thing. So addressing those so that whenever we meet someone, those weaknesses are actually things that we're confident about and things that we could actually talk about, and it might even become something that attracts someone to you because you've confronted them.
The crazy thing about this is social media and millennials have a lot to do with why we as a generation can't be weak and can't show vulnerability. Like literally, I'm trying to think about up until recently, last summer, when we had all of the rioting and the protesting about Black Lives Matter and Black men being killed by the police. That was the only time that I can think of in my life that the world allowed men to be vulnerable. They were able to cry on TV because what was bothered them, and it was okay. They didn't look weak. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we pick and choose when it's okay to be vulnerable, when it's okay to be weak. And because we allowed people, because the world allowed Black people to be vulnerable about what's bothering them, we grew as a race.
Yes.
Now these are discussions are at tables now. Now
Yeah.
you cannot walk into a Target and be racist and think you're gonna not lose your job. You gotta understand this is like being weakness and showing vulnerability, showing what bothers you opens and breaks barriers. People ain't gonna know if you don't tell them.
It,
Period.
they're not gonna. That's the line right there. They're not gonna know if you don't tell them. A lot of times we say to ourselves, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to my room and I'll be good. I'm gonna get some alone time, and I'm gonna go deal with this or whatever it is." I don't know. Alone time is good, but it's not always good.
It's not always good at all.
It is not always, and that is very, very, it could be very toxic.
Very toxic.
And like you said, E, if there's something that we need to address, we address it. Because that other person will never know. Or if you're dealing with it within yourself, you need to address it with yourself and actually listen to yourself and make the steps necessary. A lot of times we say things to ourselves and we don't do the steps necessary to get through that.
Exactly.
So it's just a continuous thing. But again, in order for us to do this with a partner or other people, we have to be able to do it with ourselves from the get-go. All right. Just being comfortable with what that is so that we could let it shine through. Shine.
Mm.
Shine.
You brought up a great point a few minutes ago about how we oftentimes try to portray out to the partners what we want to be instead of showing them what they need to be for us. You get what I'm saying? Like literally, I'm looking for someone to be there for where I can't be there, not to be the same as me. And like literally, I've been in a thing for about 2 years now, just to not for y'all to get in my business because it's none of y'all business.
None of you.
But for 2 years, right, going on 2 years, it'll be about 2 years in September. Out of those 2 years, I can say we've truly, for really, that's not a word. We've truly actually been together for real, maybe a month. And please take that for how it is. Almost 2 years, and it's only been a month for where we actually sat down and showed our weaknesses. And now we're finally growing.
Ooh.
So it wasn't a waste. I don't say I regret that time because it taught me that it doesn't matter how much you put into something. If you don't show where you're weak at, period, both sides, if you don't show vulnerability, you're never going to grow.
Yep.
So 2 years and 1 month, literally.
Not you doing 2 years and putting up four fingers, but okay.
No, I was like that.
Oh.
1 month and then 2 years, like the growth.
Oh, okay. That's some good stuff. All right. So weakness,
actually mind blowing.
Weakness leads to growth. That's basically what it is. What we should also recognize is whenever we have someone or we have people within our lives that allow us to be weak, we want those people because they won't only respond to us when we're strong. They know what we are, who we are when we're strong. All right. Because that's what we try to be every single day. That's what we get up and we go through our day and try to get these to-do tasks done and all that. They know that stuff. All right. But whenever there are those special people in the world that come into your life and they allow you to be weak,
no judgment.
No judgment. You keep them. All right. And I say allow because yes, we need to show our weaknesses. However, that other person also has to create the platform for that to happen. It's a two things because if the platform isn't created for that to happen, what am I showing?
Right. How can I talk? How can I have a communication with you if I'm not comfortable?
How can I talk? Another thing we need to recognize is if we're in a friendship, a relationship, whatever it is, one side has provided that platform for someone else to be vulnerable, weak, or show their weaknesses, and that person can listen and respond in a way that's not pushing you away, not telling you to suck it up, then it's not being reciprocated on the other side. We need to listen to those signs.
Yep, that becomes an issue.
It becomes an issue. We need to realize that that's toxic as well. All right, you're not living free at that point. Your close up is something that will always shun your emotions, whereas the other person is being able to express themselves in ways that you want to express yourselves, but you can't.
What I'm about to say is gonna piss some people off.
What is? Oh God, what is it?
Dating is literally just something to do.
Dating.
If you think about, and let me explain. If you think about what we just said, we just told you that the only way you're going to find your actual partner who you're going to spend the rest of your life with is if you find somebody that you can be vulnerable with and show your weaknesses. Show your weaknesses and be vulnerable with. How often do you go out on a date or you date people and you do that? We date so freely, we go out, and yes, you're supposed to have fun. That's why I said dating is fun. But is dating going to get you to your soulmate?
Ooh.
Like, I feel like The only way, okay, for example, let's say you've been dating for years now, just going out having fun, doing what you want to do, living your life. You run into some guy, that guy happens to, a situation, that guy happens to save your life or something. Something happens, right? Y'all fall in love because that certain moment, y'all both showed weaknesses and vulnerability, and that's how y'all connected. Never dated before, never seen each other, have no history, but that moment is what brought you together. Now y'all are together for life. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're dating, and that's another big issue too. We often date just to date instead of dating to see who is going to be my equal.
Yeah.
Now, when I was 21, yeah, woo, let's go to the movies, let's get ice cream, woo, woo, party, 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 woo, woo. Now, I want stability.
Yes.
Like, wow, I'm 25 years old. In 5 more years, I'll be 30. Like, I want kids.
Mm-hmm.
We be talking about this, and just imagine people in our generation, they have children all the time and hadn't even met their soulmate.
Yes.
Like, you're bringing in another human being, and
Right.
you can't even be fully comfortable with who you brought the human being in the world with.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? That's like so mind blowing. Like,
And no shade, no shade.
no, hell no, no shade. You do
No
what the hell you
shade.
want to
Right.
do. Period. I'm all for it. I'm all
Right.
for whatever you want to be with, whoever you want to be with. When you want to have a baby, I'm pro-choice with everything. I'm
Mhm.
bringing up the bigger picture of that. Oftentimes, we don't even know that we haven't even met our soulmate yet because we're not vulnerable or weak.
We're not vulnerable or weak. Yes.
He
We're not
liked me. She liked me because how I looked. He liked
right.
me or she liked me because of what I did, my status. So let me have a baby with her. And in actuality, I can't even have a conversation with you about what bothered me 10 years ago or why I have trust issues now at 25. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have to understand that we are still creating the generational gap into, not being with who we need to be with. And everything happens for a reason. We have to be aware that, yes, you're going to be with people that are not going to be your soulmate. You're going to be with a lot of people that's not going to be your husband. We have to also remember that it ain't going to never work if you can't be yourself with that person, period.
Never. If you can't, yep, you hit it on the head. Let me mic drop. That's good, friend. That
You ain't speechless.
I am speechless. That's literally like keep the ones that you can be weak with and
Mm.
strong at the same time. Like, of course. When I say that, I mean just your true self.
Why
Period.
do you think you need to have a team in a relationship? You don't find a team because you're already too strong. So let me get an even stronger team. You find a team because you need somebody to be there for where your weaknesses are.
Yes, and
That's a team. Like,
yes, and then once the team is got together, you just grow. You flourish.
you
This is
flourish.
why this is why E and I's friendship is strong. When I tell you, if we have a disagreement at 4:50, at 4:51, we're on the phone laughing.
Literally on the phone
And at
laughing.
4:52, we're on the phone crying. And at
Literally.
4:53, we're on the phone going to work out. At 4:55, no, it's true. At 4:55, we're taking pictures. I don't know,
Literally.
because we've seen so many different sides of each other. We've
Yep.
taught ourselves to be vulnerable with each other. This is not just in a relationship. It could be with your family member.
Mm.
It could
Ooh, hold on.
wait,
Hold on.
your
do
friend.
we want to open the family door? Because that it may be more prominent in the family than it is in relationships. How often can you grow up and be grown and tell your parents how you feel about what you are today? How hard is that? How hard is
How
it for right now anybody that's watching this that is homosexual, that is gay or bisexual can go to their parents right now and say, "Mom, I'm fucking gay."
Yes, exactly. Or even just saying to your parents, I'm gonna go get a tattoo. How open
Ooh, something as small as that, like a
you
tattoo.
yes. Oh, I'm gonna go get a piercing. Oh, I'm gonna dye my hair. Oh, I'm gonna do this. Like it's how can you do that? Not saying that you have to, but can you do that? That's the type of openness we're talking about. This is not just in relationships. This is everything, okay? But you know what? Thinking about this, if that could be present in the family as the child gets older, it becomes so much easier. whenever they go out there to try and find their soulmate.
Yes.
Start in the home. So all them people who've already, if it's never too late. If you didn't have this in your family, this is where you take yourself to the side and you confront yourself with your weaknesses and you deal with them. You become aware of them and you deal with them, confront them. You get rid of weaknesses not by running away, by confronting them. However, you confronting this and you starting your own family and stuff, raise your kid
Mm.
knowing what openness is,
Mm.
so that it makes it so much easier for whoever is out there, that soulmate that is looking for their partner.
Please, God, make it easier for us.
Lord, we're praying.
We're praying, literally. Like, imagine you coming from an open family and meeting someone and being with someone with a family that's not open. And you at family function and you're trying to be yourself and you can't even be yourself in the room. Like, then you see where all of it trickles down from, like where it comes from. Like, wow.
Toxic.
It's very toxic.
Oh, this is toxic
People
kid.
people don't realize, people don't grow up and be the way they are because one day they bump their head and now I'm not vulnerable. No, it becomes a generational thing. It's how they were raised. That's
Mm,
why I'm able to see the faults in somebody because how they were raised, what they were brought into, and then I'm able to see reality. I don't
mm,
never mix the two.
mm.
Like, you could have done something to me and you could have hurt my heart, hurt my feelings, but I'll never wake up next morning hating you for it at all. Because
Right.
I know that everything has a root to it.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Period. Big that.
But I come from an open family. I come from a whole family. I
Yep.
come from a family where I could tell them, Mom, this boy broke my heart in high school. Or Dad, I'm thinking about having sex. What should I do?
Right.
Like, we're talking about, Dad, I want to drink. Can I try a drink? We're talking about, this is stuff I expressed and felt in my home before I got grown.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
wasn't no me trying to experiment when I got out into the real world.
Yep.
That's so important.
So important. It starts in the home. And for the people, again, the people who didn't have that in the home, it's not too late.
Not too late.
All right. This is something I had to go through as an adult. And there's
Mm.
just sitting down, thinking about things, looking at a lot of my toxic traits, still working on some of them.
Still working, because
Still
the open person that came from open family can be toxic too,
yes. We
because you think that you came from the best family in the world and I'm open and we've always talked about things and there's nothing to, so then you forget reality.
yes. I always
So
have
everybody's could be toxic.
literally always checking myself. And of course, because I could be open with Erica E.
We're gonna start the whole episode over.
So I don't know, but because I could be open with E, so it's good for me to say things to her so I could get that perspective. As-
Mm.
Um, because I trust what she's gonna say, she's also provided the platform where I could show weakness or I could show fault.
Likewise,
Yeah, so
I
it's
can call Meshach and it could be about the same boy that I done to call him about 40,000 times. He's never gonna say, I don't want to hear this right now.
mm-mm,
It's always gonna be, what's wrong?
right.
What happened? What can we do? How are we moving forward? Da 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 da.
Yeah,
Literally.
yep. Always. I mean,
These are true stories, y'all. We're not making this up.
it's,
literally, literally the TikTok about being the boy best friend, and you just like,
I'm over here like Erica's not the. I'm over here like, yeah.
and I'm like, help me! What should I do? Making some grits. Ooh, hilarious. Good stuff though.
That's fine. Good stuff. I think we got
Yeah, we're
we
good.
that was it. We wrapped up. We're excited for the next episode. I think it's gonna be a big topic that we need to talk about. Um, so with that, we will see y'all next time. Um, can you put the phone up so we could start?
What are we talking about?
We're gonna get to that.
I don't like your attitude.
I don't like your attitude.
Like you the Beyonce of the show. I'm the Beyonce of the show. The
Not the Beyonce. Hold on.
fuck?